there is so much nuance there. So HR, I've just always seemed to have fallen into it. Even the trip around Australia, I thought I'd be free picking. I honestly didn't think I'd find many jobs in remote Australia, but like even in Kununurra, I managed to pick up a HR advisor role. It was really quite eye-opening, the amount of opportunity that's out there for HR. And you can slot into different businesses as well and do something, if a business needs some compliance, well, actually I can utilise this skill set that I've gained from here. So you can kind of slot in HR pretty much in any role, which is really quite good.
And do you find that from a HR perspective, do you find that can be, I suppose, can be helpful, but also can it also be a hindrance? Like, and what I mean by that is being able to slot in anywhere in any industry. Does that give you the opportunities that you like? It obviously gives you natural opportunities, but is there opportunity then to also make the change you want, or give the growth that you want, or is there also is a bit of a hindrance there too?
Yeah, sometimes it can be, I suppose, a hindrance. It depends on how you're able to flip things as well. If you could always flip them to something that's going to be beneficial, I'd try and be doing that. I know even when I worked in the resource sector, one of the ladies I worked with, which I thought was amazing, one day there was a project on and I didn't realise up until this moment, but she said, this is the time frame, this is what we need to do, and I can't explain why until after we finished. Okay, that's very strange. And so we sat down afterwards and she did a debrief and I'm like, oh, okay. And she goes, and I'm really sorry I couldn't give you your why. And I'm like, why did you ask that? You ask all the time. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. But I think that's probably because I've worked across so many different businesses and disciplines, etc., that I will be asking why, because I need to get an understanding for that particular position in that particular situation. Whereas, how you approach something in the resource sector is very different to how you approach it in media or hospitality. And I went from, I think, working in media to then working for an IT company, very different, incredibly different staffing. You've got a bunch of extroverts where there's TVs all around and, noise constantly playing. And it could be 20 different stations going at the one time, to an IT company where you go in and, you talk to people in the staff room and they don't talk to you, but they'll go back and there'll be an email there saying, hey, it was great catching up. It was lovely talking to you. And you're like, I felt like I talked to myself, but that's But yeah, everyone's different, and I think that's the thing that you end up flipping is, while sometimes you might come in with one particular mindset, you need to be open. It might not be applicable, but there's something you can pull out of there to actually apply.
In that mindset, I just want to ask you a question about that. So having experience across so many different industries, different sizes of businesses, different parts of Australia, do you think that has helped you in coming in with a non-closed or certain way that you approach HR? And if it does, the second part of that question is, if it does it then give you, the ability to make some of the changes a little bit quicker, or does it slow it down?
I think it might actually smooth some of the transitions, which can help. But sometimes I find, like, if I'm looking at a project, I need to spend some time at the beginning to sort of go from thinking out here to thinking, what is the part that I need to think about, and really narrow it down. Because otherwise, like, I could just go for days thinking, oh, that's going to impact this, which can impact this, and that might actually have an impact on this team, which could then impact here. So sometimes I've really got to narrow it down to say, okay, what is the biggest issue at the moment? What is the primary focus going to be, and what could the potential ramifications be? Don't sort of get pulled into the too wide a thought process and really narrow it down.